Hey folks, my name's Ed Travers. My pronouns are he, him, and his. I'm an Anglican priest serving in the beautiful parish of Christ Church, Shelburne that sits on the ancestral and on the unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. Today, we're going to conclude these talks about the church, about what the church should and should not do, about the things that we should and should not be involved in, about the responsibilities we do and we do not have. One of the things that I often think about when I think about the church is the church's aversion to change. We don't like it very much, especially when it means giving up where we're comfortable. And right now, the church, for the most part, regardless of denomination, regardless of location, we're quite comfortable. We like what we've had. We like our buildings. We like our congregations. We like our finances. We like our positions of authority within our communities. We like the fact that people defer to us. For ministers, it's the same. But that time is expiring. And the church is looking at some pretty drastic changes over the next couple of years. Now, this thought came to me after I watched a video about ancient Rome. In this video, it was about Julius Caesar. In particular, it was Julius Caesar's time in Egypt as a prisoner of the Pharaoh and then fighting alongside Cleopatra in their civil war. And what struck me was Egypt's still here. Right? Rome has come and gone. Since then, several empires have grown and have collapsed. But Egypt's still here. And then I thought more about it. I thought, well, let's see, Egypt was a major world power at one point. But they've also been a vassal state. They've ruled and they have been ruled over. They were an incredibly wealthy nation. And they've been incredibly impoverished at times as well. They were here before the Romans. They were here before Alexander. They were here before the Persians. They were here before Greeks considered themselves Greeks. They were here before Abraham. And they're still here today. The Egyptian people, the Egyptian nation, is still here. They've adapted. They didn't try to stay the same throughout the course of history. Now, I'm not saying they didn't fight change. They probably did fight change pretty significantly when it went from being an empire with power to being a vassal state of Persia or Alexander, for example. They probably fought that really hard. But they're still here because ultimately they adapted. They became what they needed to become in order to survive. We in the church don't seem to have that mentality. We seem to have the mentality that we will always be the way we are or we will die trying, and I've seen that happen. We will be who we've always are. We will not succumb to the changes that this world is bringing forward. We will not give up our power. We will not give up our seats of authority. We will not give up our wealth. We will not stop being exactly the way we are, doing things exactly the ways we do them. And this is a dangerous thing for the church as an organization and as a congregation. Because the church wasn't always this way. Remember, we were started by an Aramaic Jewish carpenter. The church was built because his disciples chose to spread the word throughout the Mediterranean. These disciples, by the way, were fishermen, extortionists, criminals, basically wannabes and nobodies who he chose to impart his knowledge and his wisdom to. Our church was wildly persecuted by the Roman Empire. At one point, one of the emperors, Nero, decided that he would use Christians to light the streets of his city by lighting them on fire. They used Christians as arena fodder, bait for the wild animal shows, target practice for the gladiators. The church hid. It went underground for years and years and years and years and years. And yet it thrived. And it grew and it grew and it grew into what we have today. It went through periods of incredible power, of incredible prestige, of incredible wealth that it was never, ever meant to possess. And what we see today are the last vestiges of that. We see a church today that is desperately trying to hold on to what was. For the church to truly survive, we've got to let go. For the church to be the church, we have to let go of what was, and we have to become what the world needs us to be. Because that's who we're supposed to serve. We have to let go of our ways, and we have to embrace the way the world needs us to be. We have to speak the language of those around us. We have to act in ways that they understand. We have to be Christ in this world as Christ would be in this world. Not as we believe Jesus was 2,000 years ago. How would he speak if he was here? How would he act if he was here? How would he relate to people if he was here? It's our mission today to discern that, to figure out our path forward, because change is coming. And the church needs to embrace the change. We need to let go of our aversion to change. We need to accept that while the mission is the same, the methodologies, the languages, the cultures, the customs, they're all changed. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord's face be made to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord's countenance be lifted up to you, and may you always know the peace of being in the Lord's presence. And I pray that you and I will walk this journey together, that we would be willing to let go of what was, so that we can be what the people around us truly need us to be. Amen. Today we're going to conclude this little talk. Today we're going to